A portable video projector the size of a Rubik's Cube? Let's check this out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm looking at this. Let me point this right at the camera. You can see it is a video projector. This tiny little guy is the Cinemood portable video projector. And you'll notice it's working and it's not plugged in because it actually has a battery that lets you get up to 5 hours out of this thing, which is amazing. It's also only half a pound in weight, and it is about a 3.1 inch cube, so it is pretty much the size of a Rubik's Cube, though far more interesting. Now, let me tell you that it only projects at 35 lumens, so if your kids are playing with it and they do happen to point it at their eyes, it is not going to be the end of the world, which is really important because there are a lot of projectors that can actually damage their eyesight. Not good. Now you can say, hey, come on, we're going to just always use this when the parents are around, but you know, kids being kids and all that. So that's important, but the flip side of that is it's not very bright. So we'll do a live demo, but I'm going to have to bring some lights down to have you be able to see what's going on. On the flip side, it is a full 1080p HD projection, so it looks really good. And of course, like any projector, the darker the room, the bigger you can make the image and have it look good. So if you want this to be the size of like a 75-inch TV, you need a pretty dark space to do that. If you want it to just be on the back of a car seat, you can do that probably in full daylight and it'll look pretty good. So they say it can do up to a 12-foot projection. That's going to be pretty big, but it is nonetheless a really neat self-contained unit. It also has built into it software for Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, YouTube, Amoeba TV, and it includes a whole bunch of content, notably a bunch of licensed Disney content. Now, don't get too excited. It doesn't have like the 10 greatest Disney animated movies. That would make this a little more expensive, but a lot more amazing. But what it does have is it has 65 digital books, and it has safety videos and little cartoons and animation shorts. So it has a decent amount of content, but nothing that your kids are going to be clamoring to watch. Although after they watch it once, who knows, maybe they'll like some of it. It is nicely self-contained. It also has onboard storage, so you can drop on a couple of your favorite movies or videos too. I put one on here. We'll get to that in just a minute. And like I said, it has a 5-hour battery life. So there's a lot to like about it, and it's really simple. So before we get to actually doing the demo, let me just show you that on one side you have power, and you have a power indicator. You have an audio out, so you can use external speakers or earbuds, headphones, whatever, if you don't want to hear it. And then it charges via micro USB. There are speaker vents on the back, and then on the other side, there is the focus up and down, and then there's this fun thing, and I think I can demo it even just here. Let's see, it's a little spotlight. So you turn it off and you're back to your regular projection. You can see that a little bit, but you push the button and now you have the spotlight. I think it's just for fun, but you know, kids might enjoy being in the spotlight, as it were. And on the top is a 5-button controller with a check mark in the middle and 4 navigational directions. All of that's duplicated in the Cinemood app on your smartphone, which pairs with the device. So anything I can do on the device, I can also do on the phone. And frankly, things like logging into your Netflix account is 1,000 times easier on the phone through the app than it is on the device itself. Please, please, you're going to struggle and you're going to toss this thing out the window. Don't do that. Get the app, pair it, and then on the app you'll log in just a minute or two. I still had some fiddling back and forth to get it all to work, but I did eventually finally log in. So in fact, having said all of that, let's do a demo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the lights down a little further, and then we'll just project it right here onto this little white screen. So hang on and I'll switch things around. I'm going to control all this with the remote app because it makes it a whole lot easier to work with. And as you can see, as you go along, the navigation's pretty straightforward. You move along from element to element, and there's some like finger puppet stuff and everything. And in the app, there are in-app purchases, which I was a little surprised by, so you want to be careful with that. But things like scenery, which is like, you know, star fields and aquariums and all that sort of stuff, that actually costs additional money. But let's go straight to apps, and then I choose and go down, and we can go to YouTube, and let's see how this does. We can go here, and now here's where this is a huge win that I'm using the app, because I can do the search on the app, in other words on my phone, and then we're ready to roll with a video. And of course the internet is made for cats, so here's our cat video. And you're not going to be able to hear it very well because the microphone's pretty far away, so let me step a little closer. Okay, so there you go, cat video. Let's jump back and let's go to the next thing, which would be Netflix. So let's see what's on Netflix. And pretty easy to work with. The Netflix app actually, your phone becomes more of a movement pointer, which takes a little getting used to. So, you have to sort of navigate around a little bit, but let's go to movies. And we will say, let's go to TV shows. Let's see what comes up. And again, in a darker room, this would actually be more visible, but this should hopefully work. And let's go ahead and just get this started, just so you can get a sense. Again, I'm going to step a little closer so you can hear. And one thing it takes a little getting used to is that you can't actually navigate through the Cinemood app unless you pause the video, generally speaking. So here we will actually go all the way back. Here we go. So now you can see there's Prime Video, and well, let's see, looks like the app's going to take a second. There we go. So let's go back. And there's Netflix and Prime Video and Telegram and Amoeba and all these. But let's go back to the My setting, or My area, because My Stories is how I access videos that I've copied directly onto the Cinemood. So here's one. It's a little bit of an Inception sort of thing, but it's a video of one of my other reviews. And I just plugged in the Cinemood to my computer and copied across the MP4. And it works perfectly well. I mean, again, the thing to notice, there's no plugs, no wires, no nothing. So super easy to work with. And then finally, what I also want to point out is that you can access all the settings and change whatever you're doing with the system, including sleep timers. So all of that's really cool. Now, let's switch around and I'll get back on camera and we'll talk a little bit about my thoughts regarding the Cinemood. There you have it. So it actually works pretty darn well. I'm pretty darn impressed, and it's mostly just a size and form factor and 5 hours on a battery, and the fact that you can download your own content. All of that's really cool, and comes with a little tiny rubber stand so it doesn't move around, particularly if you're plugging it in. And then there's another box, and in the box is instructions and a wall charger and a charging outlet, which is the micro USB. So nothing really amazing, but straightforward and important stuff that you need, which leads you back to this unit itself. And let me go ahead and I'll just power it down, which means I need to do a couple of things. And so now it's powered down. The light should go off momentarily. So it's really kind of a pros and cons sort of thing. They've done a lot right with this little portable projector. It works, it's easy to work with and understand, and it will hopefully turn off very soon. But the thing is it was actually a bit of a bear to get it all set up. I had a lot of problems getting Netflix to work. I did, obviously, as you saw, finally get it to work. But even then, I have to say the Netflix mobile app that they're using for this, it doesn't really make it easy for you to navigate around. You saw that a little bit in what I was doing. So, there's pros, there's cons. This might be something that your kid might find slightly frustrating, but if you can get to good programming, And most importantly, if you can get to be in a sufficiently dark environment, it really is a remarkably good projector system. It's bright and vivid colors, it's good high res. It actually has an easy focus mechanism. The keystone mechanism's a little bit more complicated. You have to go into settings to adjust it. And keystone is when you have it looking like this instead of rectangular. We had a little tiny bit of that, but not too much because I was mostly projecting it straight on. But if you want to have it like up at a steep angle or something, you can adjust for that. But you're going to have to go into settings to fiddle that. That's something where I wish there was another control that did keystone, or maybe just automated the whole thing where it looked at its image and said, oh, that's not rectangular, I can fix that. Other projectors do that, but that adds to the price. So there's your trade-offs. Pretty interesting device. The other thing I will say is that the sound quality is pretty abysmal. It's functional, but you're not really ever going to want to listen to any movie or any TV show or even any music that has anything you want to actually enjoy. It's really just like all on the high end. This is like an old AM radio. Now, it's functional. Your kids probably won't complain too much about it. And of course you can plug in, so you could plug in another speaker with better quality, or you could plug in headphones or earbuds, so that might be a saving grace. But they could do with some work on the audio quality too. Nonetheless, it's a pretty interesting solution. It's a pretty interesting product at this price point if you're looking for something to entertain the kids or just for yourself in a hotel room on the road. You pull this out, maybe you plug it into your computer or you stream something off your phone or go into one of the apps and you're good to go. And this will definitely keep you entertained for a couple hours. So that's pretty nice. Now, before we get to the price, let me ask if you can click on that subscribe button. Really appreciate when you subscribe to my channel. Cool. Now, this is the Cinemood portable video projector, the size of a Rubik's Cube and full 1080p resolution. The Cinemood portable video projector, $349.99 at Amazon.com. Now, there are a lot of projectors at a much lower price point, but they tend to be much lower resolution and have even clumsier interfaces. Not easy to do a good interface for one of these devices. So, I would say if this is something interesting to you, you should definitely check it out. And with that, I will catch you in my next video.